This book, written in 1983, said, "The office of the future is viewed by some as a paperless office where everything is processed electronically and all messages are stored on electronic files." Well, apparently we're still not living in the future, because even today, 40 years later, you may still have quite a few paper documents and photographs that you would like to scan in and turn into those electronic files this book from 1983 was talking about. The mainstay of such a task has long been the flatbed scanner, either standalone like this or as part of a combination printer-copier scanner device. And these can produce very high quality, very high resolution results. But that's not necessarily the most convenient, because these take up a lot of space, they can be rather slow, and they produce rather large files that may not be very convenient for emailing or uploading. And of course, usually they need to be connected to a computer in order to work. And at the other end of the spectrum, I've seen a lot of people use their smartphone to take a picture of a document, which will do in a pinch, but it's very difficult to get the framing and focusing right, and you usually end up with glare. So it's not a very high quality solution. It's only something you'll do if you're really desperate. So you may be looking for a scanner which is small and easy to use and doesn't require being connected to a computer, but still has pretty good quality, and that's where products like these can come into play. Now, I will say right away, both of these products have been discontinued, and these were actually thrift store finds, but new products which are pretty much equivalent in features and functionality to these are still available. So nonetheless, what I show in this video can still be useful if you're interested in a scanner like one of these two. First is the Brookstone iConvert portable document and photo scanner. Make digital files from any image. Cordless portable wand captures full color scans of documents, business cards, letters, photos, and more. Just glide the scanner over any document or photo, then download your images to PC, Mac, or other device via USB cable or micro SD card. And this one is the Pan Digital Personal Photo Scanner Converter. Simple one touch, instantly saved to your PC or memory card, scans photos up to 8.5 by 11 in seconds and without a computer, no PC required. Turn on the scanner converter, insert your photos, images instantly saved to memory card or PC. Here's the Brookstone scanner. I put in the 2 AA batteries and the micro SD card. It's only 4 gigabytes, but that should be plenty for scanning. There, I just turned it on, and we get choices of color or black and white. So that is in color, and then DPI, you get choices of high or low. I'll set it to high, and those are the only choices you get. So the way I think this works is you put down your photo or document you want to scan. You got to kind of hold it in place so it doesn't move around on you. Then you put the scanner on one side of it. You push the button once to start scanning. The green light comes on. You drag it across, and when you're done scanning, you push the button again, and the light goes out. Well, not bad for a first try, but the image is a bit vertically compressed, so either I was going too fast or it was slipping, and I also noticed a dark line going down the image. So this time, to help improve it, I taped down the document so it's not going to move around on me, and I also cleaned the scanner window, so we can give it another shot here. There are 2 little marks which indicate the width of the scanning. So I lined it up with my document, push the button once to start scanning, and this time I'll try to go a little bit slower. This time the aspect ratio is correct, and the cleaning did get rid of that line, although the image is a little bit crooked. So with a few more tries, I think I would have been able to get a pretty good result out of this scanner. But one thing I didn't realize is that every time you turn this on, it defaults to low resolution, and that caused a pronounced herringbone pattern on this image of the computer. And I think that's because this kind of document, the way they printed it, it has a very fine grid of dots. And that's clashing with the resolution of the image sensor on this. Sort of like when you try to take video of an old color CRT and you get that moire pattern. The same basic thing is happening here. So I tried again, this time at high resolution, and that herringbone pattern is very much reduced. It's still somewhat visible, but it's not nearly as bad. And one of the advantages of this kind of wand scanner is that it is not limited to scanning loose sheets of paper. You can actually scan images from a book or magazine. So that's what I'm going to try to do with this issue of PC World magazine from November 1996. Has this interesting ad for an Everex laptop with a built-in MO drive that's magneto-optical, an early format that predated burnable CDs. So I'll set this to high resolution. I taped down the edges just to see if that helps, and push the button to start scanning. I am pushing down a little bit on it to try to flatten the paper, which see the red light came on. I think that comes on when it detects that you slipped. So this time I took off the pieces of tape. I don't know how good of a job they're going to do anyway. Push the button to start scanning. And just try to use friction to hold everything. And see, it's crinkling on me, so I don't know how good this is going to turn out. What? The light already went out. It didn't show the air light that time, so I don't know what happened then. Maybe it just gave up on me because I wasn't moving fast enough. So try once more. Yeah, this paper is crinkling around on me. So this is not going to be a very good scan, but we'll see what it turns out as. Well, as expected, it ended up with a lot of wrinkles in the image because of that thin paper. So that's a struggle you're going to face. It's just not going to turn out well. But this time I think I have a more suitable object. It's still technically a magazine, but it's very thin and it's made with much thicker paper. This was actually the first issue of Wolfsburg magazine. I don't know how long that lasted. It's from 1999, first edition. So I'm going to try to scan this ad for rapid parts. I'll turn on the scanner. This time it's a black and white image, so I'll set it to black and white, high resolution, and see how this turns out. See, there's staples here, so that's going to be another struggle. Trying to get past these staples without stopping. So let me try again. Well, that worked okay, except the image turned out a bit wavy because of the way the paper was moving around. So this time, once again, I taped it down, and it should be pretty nice and flat and stable. So we'll give it another try here in black and white mode. See, those staples are still going to be an issue because they're like speed bumps. And this time, despite taping down the paper, it still turned out wavy. So this thing is really just a novelty. I think the image sensor would be decent, but the main problem is going to be dragging it across whatever you're trying to scan and trying to get it lined up perfectly and make sure it's perfectly flat and it doesn't move around on you. It's going to be a struggle to get good results out of this thing. Now here is the Pan Digital scanner. It is a little bit bigger than the first one. But the main advantage of this one is that it has an automatic document feeder. So that means you cannot scan books or magazines, but as we saw with this, that's probably more hassle than it's worth anyway. So if you're scanning photos or single sheets of documents, this one should do a much better job. This one uses a full-size SD card instead of a micro SD card, and when you're done scanning, you can either take this out and pop it into a card reader on your computer, or you can connect this to USB and use the scanner itself as a card reader. But one thing I did not expect is that this does not run on battery power. You have to use the included AC adapter, which puts out 6 volts DC with this mini barrel jack. So even though it has a USB port, you cannot power it through USB either. You have to use the AC adapter. So if you're thinking you can use this on the go anywhere, well, you'll have to be near an AC outlet. Once you have it connected to power and you have your SD card inserted, you're ready to begin using it. You just push the button to turn it on. And this one, there's only one option. When the light is green, it's going to scan at 300 dpi. And when the light is orange, it's going to scan at 600 dpi. So first I'll try 300 dpi. I'll stick in my document here. And it automatically begins scanning the document. Don't even have to push any buttons. I think that looks pretty good for 300 dpi, and one of the nice things about this scanner is that it automatically crops the scan to the size of the image. Now I'll try 600 dpi. Of course, it runs slower due to the higher resolution. Again, an excellent result, and this time there is no visible herringbone pattern, unlike when I used that handheld Brookstone scanner. Now let's try scanning some photos. Now let me try scanning a document that's black and white and mostly text, so 300 dpi should be fine for this. One thing I noticed about this scanner is that it tends to underexpose the scans, which I guess is better than overexposing them, but you might want to use some photo editing software on your computer to boost up the brightness and contrast a bit to help make the scans look better. You can scan a full page image that is landscape instead of portrait. You'll just need to rotate the image on your computer. On this one, I noticed some banding across the top of the image. I think that could actually be from light leaking into the scanner's image sensor, because I was scanning this under my bright studio lighting. And in case the image sensor gets dirty and you get lines on your scans, you can use the included cleaning stick. Now, I don't know if they tell you to, but I'm going to put a little bit of isopropyl alcohol on it just to get it damp. You probably can use it dry, but I think this will just do a better job. Now you just stick it in and swipe it back and forth. And now for the grand finale, I'm going to do a direct three-way comparison between the handheld wand scanner, the portable sheet feeder scanner, and the conventional flatbed scanner to prove that there's more than one way to scan a cat. Zooming in, surprisingly, the handheld wand scanner has what I think is the most pleasing color balance and contrast. It's a shame it's so frustrating to use, because otherwise I think it could actually produce some very nice looking images. The portable sheet feeder scanner has better detail, but overall the image is darker, more reddish, and a little bit washed out, so it's not as much of an improvement as I had hoped. And even though all three scans are done at 600 dpi, the flatbed scanner is the only one that actually has enough detail to show the rosette pattern of the original color printing. So with a little bit of retouching, this obviously would be able to produce the highest quality results. So out of these two portable scanners, clearly the PanDigital Personal Photo Scanner Converter is the easiest and most convenient to use. I just wish it had a built-in battery so you didn't need to run it on AC power, and unfortunately the quality of its scans are only mediocre at best. And the Brookstone portable document and photo scanner actually surprised me with the quality of its scans, but unfortunately it's just a very frustrating experience to use. Part of the problem is these rollers are just too small to get a good grip on whatever you're trying to scan. Maybe it was a little bit better when it was brand new and the rubber was more tacky, but it's just a frustrating experience overall, and that's the major disappointment with this. And neither of these is going to be a replacement for a flatbed scanner, so if you have access to one, that's obviously going to be your best choice.